Lakers Nation, what is going on, guys? So it's Miss 81 here back with a new video, and we just got a recent report according to NBA Central on the Twitter page. This is coming from NBA Sarah. So it says, well, guys, the Utah Jazz are expected to, if not, listen to trade offers for Walker Kessler this offseason. So I am expecting a bunch of teams to, show interest in Walker Kessler. One of them is the Los Angeles Lakers. But if I'm the GM, Rob Pelinka, I'm calling up, the Utah Jazz and Danny Ainge to see what you want for Walker Kessler, right? I mean, it's just simple as that. Now, I know Danny Ainge still hasn't come off those, 2 first-round picks, so he still hasn't budged. Maybe he does change that in the offseason, because I know around, December this past year, before 2025 did begin in January, there's literally reports coming out that the Jazz were going to take him off, the trade market. Maybe they just weren't getting offers that they wanted, but hopefully this is the time in the off season. But before getting to the video and break it down, I really appreciate if you could like the video as well, so my channel can grow. We're also on the road to 4K subs, so I appreciate you guys, and also my views and my draft, videos and comments and stuff like that. But also make sure you guys follow my socials if you guys want to stay connected with me. My social media, Instagram, Twitter. Don't really use it that much, but I just use it to post content, stuff like that, and talk sports, right? Do have TikTok, but just got banned, so hopefully they do appeal it. But also make sure you guys turn on the notification bell so you guys stay updated for more Lakers videos. If you guys enjoy my content, I do post daily, if not almost every single day, so 365 days. So let's not waste too much time. Let's get back in today's video. Now, Walker Kessler is just the type of center that we've been needing for a while. Even he make perfect sense alongside Anthony Davis, because Anthony Davis was our defensive anchor, and he didn't really like playing the 5. He didn't really mind, playing it, but he doesn't want to play at least 40 minutes a night. So that's why Walker Kessler was like the type of center that just made perfect sense alongside Anthony Davis, because you probably have one of the best, defensive front courts in the league, right? But, based on Anthony Davis' comments, he was like, you know what? The Lakers wouldn't get me a center, and what I wanted, he spoke out in the media, and maybe, the Lakers just didn't believe in Anthony Davis, so that's why they traded him and Luka Doncic, which nobody really saw coming. So it's more obvious, it's more apparent that the Lakers need a starting level center now that Anthony Davis has been gone around the trade line. And we got Luka Doncic. He loves that pick and roll. He loves that lob threat. So Walker Kessler is that defensive anchor. He's young. He's 23 years of age. He's 7 foot tall, weighs about 245 pounds. Now, guys, looking at his contract, right, he's making around $4.8 million, which is very cheap. He's pretty much outplaying his contract, especially because of his, production. But he's going to become a restricted free agent in 2026, so he's basically going into a contract year. He's going to be extension eligible. And like I said, he has 1 more year left on his deal. So the Lakers should at least take on that. They could pretty much, swap Dalton Connect, because he's making around $4 million, and he has 3 years left on his deal, or yeah, around there. So the trade just would go through, but he could be your defensive anchor, a very good, shot blocker, rim protector, just give you a double every single night, just can make plays out of, the double team. You get what I'm trying to say? But he's a perfect center for now, but also for the future, because he just fits the timeline. He's young. He could pretty much be your franchise center for the next 10 plus years, as long as, Luka Doncic's here. So I think it's very interesting. Also, the Lakers also did explore the possibility of including future swaps and potentially lifting the protections on the 27 first-round pick, Rui, Dalton, and their 2031 first-round pick. Now, if I'm the Los Angeles Lakers, I'm not giving up Dalton Connect and our 2031 first-round pick. I think that's an overpay. That's too much. Pretty much Dalton Connect was a draft pick in the first round last year, 17. But I'm not sure how certain teams value Dalton Connect. Do they value more, Dalton, or do they value more our 2031 first-round pick? Because I assume these picks might not be good now that we have Luka Doncic. The whole idea was what? We have Anthony Davis. He's 31, 32 years of age. This was before, the Luka Doncic trade got down. And Danny Ainge really values the Lakers picks. He even said on record that he believes the Lakers have the best picks in the market, because he thinks the Lakers are going to be terrible when LeBron James does right off into the sunset. But well, guys, that really kind of extended LeBron's career a little bit. Maybe has like 1, 2, if not 3 more years in, his career, and maybe does retire. So maybe the Lakers can go after another star once he's gone. But also, Austin Reeves, he's going to be extension eligible, right? He's going to a contract year. He's going to go into the market and just test it in free agency. Not this offseason, but the following year, 2026. He's going to look for at least 30 to at least 40 plus mil. So the Lakers don't want to lose him for nothing. At least get some, assets, get a player, his, talent, his, production even better, maybe just a better overall fit that just plays defense and also can give you the scoring production. So that way you have the balance on your team alongside, Luka Doncic, right? You still have, LeBron James. He has a player option. I know he's probably going to, pick it up. We'll see if he does or not, or if he does, opt out. But the Lakers don't have the full, tax or mid-level exception. I think it's a non-taxpayer worth about $14.1 million. We'll see, depending on LeBron James. But we do have the taxpayer MLE. I believe it's worth about $5.7 or $5.8 million. So hopefully the Lakers can get a backup center in the offseason. There's players like King Capella. Is he want to take that? You got, Steve Adams. So we'll see what happens. There aren't, plethora of great centers in free agency, so that's why the Lakers should go through the market. But I know earlier in the offseason, the Lakers did offer D'Angelo Russell before we did trade him in the Dorian Finney-Smith trade. It was also multiple first-round picks for Walker Kessler. And I know there were some teams that were interested in JHS, our, point guard. He didn't really pan out. He was a draft pick in, 2023, 17, but he was dealing with, back injuries and stuff like that. And he was mostly playing for, the South Bay Lakers, G League affiliates. So he wasn't really getting too much of an opportunity. And I know that was more of a Darvin Ham move because he even said he wanted to be like a Drew Holiday type. And those are even comparisons to, Malcolm Brogdon and stuff like that. But it just didn't work out. And I even think that was Rob Pelinka type of move. But I know I'm going all over the place, but I do digress. But that's just my personal opinion. Literally, the Utah Jazz were, sitting the starters for weeks. Even guys from, Colin Sexton, even their, scoring production that they're getting off the bench, and, Jordan Clarkson, Walker Kessler. So you have to, think about it. If you're the Los Angeles Lakers, do you go get Walker Kessler? Maybe you get a Jordan Clarkson coming off your bench, but I'm not really the biggest fan of Jordan Clarkson. I've already had him before, but he is a veteran in this league. But he's very inconsistent, very inefficient. I mean, he could help your bench. He's a definition of a six-man. Maybe you go after John Collins and just get him. And, Walker Kessler, I'm fine with that. But John Collins, he's 27 years of age. He's young. He had a very good, season this year. I know before he got traded to the Utah Jazz, he was on, the Atlanta Hawks. I just feel like he just wasn't getting enough touches as soon as they traded for DeJounte Murray, and he had one of his worst careers. But until he got traded for Rudy Gay, I believe it was a first-round pick or multiple second-round picks. I can't remember. This was a couple years back. But he had a good season last year. He was getting plenty of opportunity. So he's young. Like I said, 27. He's currently making around $26 million this upcoming season. So he does have a player option. I definitely think he's going to pick it up because I just don't see him getting more than that. But he's not going to opt out. So he's going to pick it up, and he'll become unrestricted free agent the following year, 2026-27. So it's expiring. If it doesn't work out, then you just flip him in the trade line and get, assets and see what you can get for him. Maybe a player that's just an upgrade. So I think it's a win-win for the Lakers and especially the Utah Jazz because they have plenty of players that are expiring contracts. Like I said, Walker Kessler is going to a contract year. It's going to be expiring. You got John Collins. He's expiring. You got Colin Sexton. So he's 26 years of age, listed at 6'3". He's an undersized guard. He's a definition of a pit bull. I mean, he's not great defensively, but when he's locking a gauge, he's not, bad. I mean, he's better than Austin Reeves defensively. I wouldn't trade Austin Reeves for, Colin Sexton. I think that's just a downgrade. But if you could get multiple pieces out of the deal, then I would definitely, do it. It's worth it. So he's averaging around 18.4 points per game, shooting around 48% from the field, and 40.6% from three. So he's a very good three-point shooter. Looking at his contract, he's making around, $18.9 million. Pretty much rounded up to $19 million. So become unrestricted free agent in 2026 expiring. So if it doesn't work out, once again, you could flip him and trade him in the trade line, right? But the Lakers, they need, several pieces. They need to start a level center. You go get Walker Kessler, you get that 3-and-D wing, and you get that 3-and-D guard. Maybe you go after a Malcolm Brogdon, because I know he's making around like $22.5 million or $23 million, but because of his injury history, then there's literally a report coming out, I believe yesterday, that he would have to take like a 1-year prove-it deal, like a veteran minimum. So he's going to be a free agent. I would be willing to, do that. So if he could get a guy who's 230 pounds, just plays both ends, score, defend, can play off ball and on ball, and can shoot three, then I'm definitely getting a Malcolm, Brogdon, if he could just take the veterans minimum if I'm the Los Angeles Lakers. But that's just my, personal opinion. I know the Utah Jazz are tanking. It's kind of weird is because they're in a position, it's like, do they want to rebuild or do they want to compete? Because they haven't been able to get the top guys. I mean, they're literally tanking. They were sitting their starters, like I was saying in the beginning of the video, and this is like multiple weeks, and they still were able to get, Cooper Flag, or maybe one of these, guys. I know they have a top 5 pick. They have the 5th overall, so we'll see what they're willing to do with that. Do they get the center, the black guy from Duke, who is teammates with Cooper Flag? Kamachi, I think that's how you pronounce his name, but we'll see. Do they get a guard? But if they get a center, then I think it's more apparent that they do trade, Walker Kessler, because they have a logjam of centers or front court. You got, Walker Kessler. You got Lauri Markkanen. He's making around like, $49 million. I would be willing to get Walker Kessler and Lauri Markkanen instead of getting, John Collins. But I'm just being optimistic as I can, being more realistic. So if we're able to get, Walker Kessler and Lauri Markkanen, then I would do it. But if you could get Lauri Markkanen's contract and take that bad contract, maybe you won't have to give up as much, but you're going to have to get to at least $46 to $49 million. Now, there was a proposed trade coming from Lakers Better on his Twitter page. So it says that the Utah Jazz would be receiving Austin Reeves. Gabe Vincent, just really don't care about. He was a non-factor in a playoff. Shea Milton, non-guaranteed, but just didn't really play in the playoffs. You also include your 2031 first-round pick. I would do it because you're pretty much giving up Austin Reeves on that first-round pick. That's just my personal opinion. Austin Reeves going to a contract year, so like I said, you don't want to lose him for nothing. At least you want to get something out of it. That's just my personal opinion. And then you get Walker Kessler, your franchise center for like the next 10 plus years. Like I said, Colin Sexton, a point guard, and then you get a 2028 second round pick. So Lakers fans, NBA fans generally, you guys let me know in the comment section how do you guys feel about that proposed trade. And also, I'm pretty sure Danny Ainge, your GM, did hire his son for, development and stuff like that. So I think it's very interesting. Also, I appreciate the support. Make sure you guys keep liking, sharing, and, subscribe, because it means a lot to me. I'm going to be able to reach my next milestone. But I do want to, mention Walker Kessler's stats and tell you guys. So currently, he's averaging around 11.1 points per game, 12.2 rebounds, which is very incredible, 1.7 assists, shooting around 66.3% from the field. Doesn't really take too many threes. He's still developing, so hopefully that just takes time over his career and expands it. He's averaging around, 30 minutes a night, averaging around 2.4 blocks. That is freaking incredible. So he's one of the best, shot blockers in the league, and he did play 58 games, 58 starts. And also last year he did play, 64. So the most games he's ever played in his career is 74. But just keep in mind, you have to put into context that the Utah Jazz are tanking. They're literally trying to sit out guys. So that's why he wasn't really getting, too many games this season. So there's only 82 games in the regular season. And yeah, man, keep, commenting. I'm looking forward to your feedback. So I'm going to try to respond to all your comments, if not some of them. And also, the links will be down in the description. And yeah, man, I'm out of here. Peace. Cheers.